And welcome to Chapter 5. Give me just 1 second for me to do my battle preparations. Alright, things should be good now. Let me just double check one more time. Yep, looks like everything's in order. Let's get started. Alright, so we're now in northern Aurelis, and here's the main castle we need to take. This chapter isn't very hard. From what you can see on the map, there's actually a lot of big empty space, but the problem is that all the enemies on this side are going to go not across the river to attack us, they're going to go for these 4 units down here, and these guys are not as strong as us, so they're going to need some help. They're not very equipped to handle this. Let's start with the leader, Hardin, and his power turban. He's the younger brother of the King of Aurelis, and one of the last people still holding out against the enemy forces in this region. As a unit, he's a pretty good cavalier straight out of the gate, and more cavaliers are never a bad thing. After Mathis, and after seeing the other 2 cavs we'll get, you might be tempted to just not bother with Hardin, but you'd be missing out on a great unit. He can pretty much take over for Jagan, including using the Silver Lance, and overall he's really good. As a side note, since Hardin is one of the more plot-important characters in this game, and is very significant in the next Marth game, I'm going to keep him as a permanent fixture on the team. Up until now, I've just been using who I want, and we haven't really had that many to choose from, but I do have a pre-made plan of who I want to prioritize training and take to the last chapters based on who's most plot relevant. Sita's on there, Ogma is too, Hardin is the 3rd so far. Next up is Wolf. He's a horseman, so actually our 2nd promoted unit in this run. His bases aren't anything special, but take a look at those growths. Yeah, that's not a typo. It requires some explanation. So in the original version of this game, horsemen weren't promoted hunters, they were just another unit type, and hunters couldn't promote at all. The game balance was kind of screwed up like that in the early versions. So we have Wolf and Sedgar, these horsemen here, and then when they remade the game, suddenly they're now promoted units, and they're getting experience much more slowly as a result, so what do we do to give them some purpose for existing? Do we make their bases stronger to reflect that they're promoted? No, that would mess up the balance of the game, and I guess they didn't want to overshadow Hardin. So what they decided to do was keep them promoted, keep them with low bases, but make their growths insanely high, so if you decide to train them, they can keep up. When a character has a growth rate in a stat that's over 100%, like Wolf's HP is here, they are of course guaranteed to increase it by 1 every time they level up, that's what a 100% chance means, and then on top of that they get a chance to increase it by a 2nd point up to the amount that's over 100. So Wolf is guaranteed to get 1 HP, and he has a 60% chance to actually get 2 HP. I'm not sure if that makes him worth using normally. He still gets experience very slowly due to being promoted, and horsemen are weird in that with one weapon type he can attack at 1 range with swords, and with his other weapon he can attack at 2 range with bows, but he'll never be able to have the versatility to defend himself at both 1 and 2 range at the same time, like he would if, say, he could use javelins. The optimal way of using Wolf and Sedgar is actually to reclass them to other classes. Wolf reclass to General, which is a promoted knight, can tank pretty much everything, and you can just steamroll chapters with them and eat up a bunch of experience, get some levels on them to shoot their stats up with their ridiculous growths, and then reclass them out of General into a class that's actually good, like Hero or Berserker. I don't really know all the dank reclass strategies for this game, so it's not something I want to bother with on this Let's Play. So we'll be leaving Wolf on the bench this time around. Sorry, bud. This is Sedgar. He's the other horseman, and pretty much a carbon copy of Wolf. Unlike Wolf, he isn't guaranteed to level strength, but he has more skill and defense. Using him is the same as using Wolf, except I guess because his defense is better, he doesn't have to reclass to General right away. No personality to speak of, but that's kind of true for all these guys. Anyway, that's it for the decent units. Now we're on to the ones who have no reason for existing. The least terrible of the 2 is Rocher. Another chapter, another disappointing cavalier. 90% HP is alright, but 10% HP is just not. At least he can use javelins at base. His hair is stupid. That's all I have to say about him. And this is Violend. He's a lot like Mathis from last chapter in that his bases are pretty much identical to generic enemy calves. His bases are bad, he has no good growths, and he gets weighed down so badly by the steel lance he comes with that despite having 6 speed, that gets reduced to 2 when he actually fights, so he gets doubled by the cavaliers up here and other stuff. So if he's on the front lines, he's just gonna die really fast. Violence sucks. At least he can use javelins. His hair isn't quite as stupid as Rocher's. And I guess I'll take this opportunity as I move around to explain why most of the new units we're getting just seem bad in comparison to the ones we've already been using the whole game. It's because the game was designed to not be reset when you lose a unit. That's how it was intended to be played in the so-called Iron Man mode. So when, say, you lose Cain or Abel or both, now you're down to now you're down 2 major members of your army. Well, we just got 3 Cavaliers in this chapter, and including Mathis from the last one. Their stats are bad to the point where they can barely keep up with the enemies in their own chapter, but they can at least fill a similar role on the battlefield. So in a sense, they're the punishment the game gives you for getting those better units at the beginning killed. Like your Cain, your Abel, your Draug, your Ogma. Not only do you lose the investments you made with those units, but you also now need to make do with the new losers. But I think playing the game that way, the so-called Iron Man mode, where you continue despite any losses, is kind of an interesting way to play the game. I mean, it opens up the possibility for, say, you lose Cain or Abel, so you need to start using someone like Rocher, and at first you're like, oh man, statistically this guy is not worth it, he's just terrible. But then, you know, maybe he actually ends up overcoming how good he should be based on his growths and ends up becoming an actual major player on your team. Statistically it's unlikely, but it's definitely possible. Anyway, I haven't even really started talking about the chapter. Hardin's squad suffers really hard over here if you don't help them, so I sent Sita, Jagan, and some of the other calves over there to keep the heat off them. Nice crit. One of the more important parts of keeping them alive is splitting up the enemy forces so that they aren't all trying to pour through the eastern choke point and wreck everyone. I'll show you what I mean in a second when the enemy phase is over. I thought more of them would go for Marth. I guess this one will. We need to get this boy back up to doubling people. Single hits are not going to cut it. He does have a steel sword now, which helps. So yeah, if I just did what Hardin said at the beginning and tried to move everybody up as far east as possible, they would just get sandwiched. They'd get shot by the archers, they'd get attacked by the knights coming down, they'll get charged by the cavaliers and the Pegasus Knight that's about to start coming, and it would just be a huge mess. It would make them really hard to protect. So what I did was basically split them up into 3 different groups. I sent Hardin over here to tank the front lines if anybody starts coming towards the east, which they might in a little bit. I put Wolf here on this forest and equipped him with the bow, because he's actually one of the few people who can reliably retaliate against the archers here, so that prevents them from going to the eastern choke point and attacking Hardin or anything. Hope he doesn't get hit here. That would kinda... Okay. That's me not looking at enemy damage before I actually get into a fight. Yeah, these guys are actually surprisingly nasty. And I brought Violent over here. He's not going to fight because he'd die if he tried that, but it was to bait these Cavaliers, and by the time they're baited over here, I can bring Sita, have the Wing Spear. I don't want... Yeah, I guess that's fine. What do these guys have? Iron Lance, Javelin. Can this guy reach? He can. So we'll equip Sita with a Javelin, too. I don't want them to get the fort, but I don't think I have much of a choice. Oh, whatever, she can take a couple hits. We'll just use a Wing Spear. We'll just kill him with 1 hit anyway. Bring Violent back. So we have basically 3 major choke points here. We have the western one, which Sita's going to be covering, and these Cavaliers will go for her. We have the eastern choke point with Hardin that he's going to cover in a bit. I'm not going to bother with sending him up to take out the thieves. We'll be able to intercept them fairly easily by ourselves. See, Abel is already here. That's why Cavaliers are good. Just having this movement range, being able to get them to places fast, very useful. It's not like we need more help over here. So we'll bring Cain, maybe chuck a Javelin or something. The only thing I wish I could do is possibly bring a, I'll start using the Steel Lance. It's kind of hard to punch through the Knights that are going to be coming if you don't use steel weapons. Jaden can help with the javelin so we can move Hardin up a little bit. Just one space, it can make all the difference. Next turn I'll probably swap out Wolf for Sedgar. Wolf's getting a little low on health. And then we need to handle what's on this side. So like I said, like, Marth's army actually isn't the one in danger. It's just a matter of how many people you can devote to coming over here to help Hardin, and then how fast you can get them over here. So the only thing to worry about over here is that, as you saw, the Cavaliers all charged as soon as we got within their range. Makes sense there. But as soon as you get within this Pegasus Knight's range, the Pegasus Knight will charge, the Archer will start coming, and then this Sage will start coming. He looks kind of friendly, right? Kind of like we could recruit him, right? Well, you can, by talking to him with either Marth or Merrick. So what we'll do, just to draw the Pegasus Knight in, put... Yeah, Marth needs all the experience he can get, let's be honest. Put him here with the Steel Sword. And we definitely want to have Merrick close enough that when, when Wendell comes down, Merrick can talk to him right away. Without putting him in too much danger, of course. Gonna keep healing. I'm considering bringing Lena over here, but I think it's gonna be too dangerous for her. Might just have to trade around some vulneraries if people need healing over there. We'll send Ogma too. We don't need him over here. Castor can be on the sidelines to shoot down the Pegasus Knight if it gives us too much trouble, and who else hasn't moved? No, just these guys, I don't care. Yeah, see, even with all the strength and stuff, and how good Abelins these folks have been becoming, Knights are still pretty dangerous. But fortunately we have magic now, so they're not going to be a big deal for much longer. Good dodges, Wolf. It's almost like I put you in a forest on purpose. Jaden can still double people. One damage. Man, enemy Pegasus Knights in these games they have it rough. Yeah. Let's do this side first. Sita can take out this Cavalier in one hit, no problem. And how far can this Pegasus Knight reach? Yeah, we definitely want to keep these guys out of... well, it might not be a bad idea. I mean... 7 speed. Sedgar gets weighed down to... He gets weighed down by 2 by the steel bow. He doesn't get doubled. Yeah, I don't want Wolf to take an extra hit, so I'm going to swap him out for Sedgar. Sedgar can double and one-shot this guy, so that's no problem. Have Sita kill you. I guess we'll trade a sword to Sedgar, just so we can retaliate at one range if the Pegasus Knight decides to go for him. Could have sworn there were 2 thieves. Where'd the other one go? Did we kill it? Huh. Weird. Maybe there's only one. I don't know. Oh no, we killed the other one. We killed it. You're gonna stay here. Block this point off. Ogma just destroying these guys. I want to give Hardin the thief kill, though. And we should be able to get to him before he can kill the... Yeah, he's not going to be able to get to that village. That's a pretty good village. You don't want to miss that one. And there's a crit. Hardin really wanted that experience, too. That's okay. I wanted him to get it. Kane wanted that kill. He's pretty underleveled. He's kind of far below. And we got a door key. We don't need it for this chapter. We'll just put it in the convoy. Yeah, he's a little bit behind Abel. He's got more strength, though, but... Damn, Abel's speed is... Abel's gotten a lot of good speed level ups. That's really good to see. And not much left for Abel to do. I guess we can just train with Lance Rag by throwing javelins at this guy. The Curate's probably going to heal him up, though. And we'll recruit the Wendell. I'll recruit him from here so I can get this archer kill with Merrick, maybe. That's awesome. It's a good conversation between the two, though. It kind of shows off their student-teacher relationship pretty well. I've no taste for war, but war is what I've been served. It's a good line. And a level for Merrick. Good level for Merrick. I would have preferred speed, but, you know, I won't complain. So this is Wendell, our last recruit for the chapter, and the Pope, maybe. He's Merrick's teacher and an all-around swell guy. In game terms, he's a sage, a promoted mage, and he's really good. First of all, he's super fast for an old man with 12 speed at base. He's got B rank in tomes, which means he's never going to be restricted in weapons. He can even use Excalibur if you get Merrick killed. And because nobody has res in this game and essentially takes full damage from every magic hit, even 4 base magic is enough to trash anybody who gets in your way. Except for, like, I mean, Pegasus Knights tend to have pretty high resistance, but that's kind of the only exception. He's almost guaranteed to double because of his crazy speed. He actually has a little strength on him, so he doesn't get weighed down by tomes very badly. He has a respectable D rank in staves, so he can be a heal bot if you don't need him to melt anyone's face off on a turn. He can still help out. With just a few heals, he can get to C rank staves, so he can be a secondary user of the warp staff later for more warp cheese. Even down to the equipment he comes with, he has a thunder tome, which is an E rank tome that's just better than fire, which doesn't make very much sense to me, but whatever. He also comes with a barrier staff, which boosts resistance. It's super useful for taking on enemy mages later in the game, because nobody has res naturally in Shadow Dragon. The only bad thing about Wendell is that his growths aren't fantastic, but it's funny, they're not actually even that terrible by Shadow Dragon standards. Plus, all his good qualities come with him at base, without needing his stats to get higher. He could have 0% growths in every stat, and I'd still consider him useful. He's also got a sick bishop hat. But it is kind of a waste to give him experience like this, especially when Marth still needs as many kills as he can get. This is yet another map where Marth needs to go all the way up here to visit the village, and then all the way down here to capture the throne. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, just got a phone call. Like I was saying, Marth needs to go all the way up here, and then across the bridge, and all the way down here to get to the throne. It's much better in the other games because anybody can visit villages, but yeah, I guess they wanted a reason for you to put Marth on the front lines to put him at a little bit of a risk, I guess, but I just think it's more of a waste of time than anything. Anyway, we've cleared all the enemies out on this side, and even on this side, it's pretty much just the boss and a couple more remaining who are going to be taken out on this next turn, so we've essentially finished the map already. Let's start visiting houses. Such a weird conversation to have with somebody who just comes to visit your house. Oh, there's lots of treasure in the castle, but you need a thief to get it. Port Warren, huh? Last chapter I was kind of lazy about giving Lena heals and keeping her next to people who need to get healed. Oh, she got magic. That's really good. I mean, if we want to keep her leveled up, keep her magic and other stats increasing at a decent pace, keep her healing relevant in the late game, and eventually get her promoted, we definitely want to be healing with her as much as possible, because it's not like we can give her, like, thief kills or anything, because she can't fight. Ah yes, two high defense units fighting each other. A riveting battle to watch. Wonder if this healer's actually going to do his job. Horseman animations are pretty cool, not gonna lie. There we go. Actual competency. That's what we like to see. What do I want to give this kill to? Can Hardin reach? Hardin can reach. And he can kill. Gotta catch up to the other Kevs somehow. He doesn't wear his turban in his battle sprite though, that's kinda sad. Let's see, if I do 6 damage with him, Abel could take him out, or I could just give Hardin another kill. Probably do that. Moving on up. See, maybe we can start moving some people back so that Lena can heal them. Jagen can stay here. This armor is pretty good. It sells pretty much any regular weapon type you'd need at this point. Iron and steel versions of swords, lances and bows, javelins, hand axes. I'm already pretty stocked up, and as one of those houses said, we're getting closer to one of the more shop-heavy chapters in the game, and I want to save some gold for a big shopping spree there. I will buy a couple more javelins, though, because you can't never have too many of those. Yeah, the rest of these guys. Hardin has a talk conversation with Marth, as does Wendell if you recruit him with Merrick, so I definitely want to get both of those just because. Hope Jagen doesn't get a crit here, that'd be a waste of experience. Okay. 6 damage. And Hardin should be able to finish it. Yeah. Even throw a javelin from here instead. Why get Jagen more hurt than he has? That's exactly what I was worried about. Thanks, Jagen. Are we actually gonna see Jagen level up? Maybe. Whatever. So yeah, like I said, if you recruit Wendell with Merrick, he has a talk conversation with Marth, and this is just the conversation that would happen if you recruited Wendell with Marth. So that's kind of cool that you can still get both, technically. More like you'll be helping us, Wendell, because you're much stronger than Marth, or really anybody we have at this point. It's my favorite village in the game. The writers clearly had a lot of fun with that one. I always thought Manicheets looked something like parakeets. It gives you a fire stone, a stone used to transform into a fire dragon. But not just anyone can use it. I know, I wanted to turn Abel into a fire-breathing dragon too. Just hang on to it, we'll find a use for it soon. Send it to the convoy. Let's see. Heal staffs, come get your heals. Come give experience to the healer. Barst hasn't done anything this map, that's kind of sad. Really tempted to kill a defenseless healer with Hardin, but no, he's an honorable man, he wouldn't do that. Let's just send him up so he can have his talk with Marth. What turn are we on? Turn 5? Excuse me. Yeah, on turns 10 through 15, reinforcements will actually start appearing out of these forts at the top. 1 Cavalier per turn out of this fort, and a Pegasus Knight every turn out of this fort. If you want to wait, you can grind experience off of them, but I don't really care. And that's correct, these are the first fort reinforcements that we could actually stop by putting a unit on top of one of them, so if I wanted to I could send Sita up and just block these off, but we're going to finish this map within 5 turns anyway, so it's not a big deal. Speaking of which, we should send Merrick down, because he's probably going to be how we kill the boss. Well, I'm also tempted to just give it to Sita. Yeah, this guy's pretty dang tough. He's got 13 defense, plus 2 that he gets from the castle gate he's standing on, so he's a really tough cookie. Even though he doesn't have a ranged weapon, we can't really hurt him by throwing javelins. None of our guys are strong enough to do that. Kane might be able to do 1 damage, but like, yeah. Bad hit rates, high defense, 1 damage per turn. He's just going to get healed up by the gate faster than we can do damage to him if we try this. So really our best bet for him is Magic or Sita, and I think I favor Magic just because I want the Silver Lance to have as many uses as possible when we still, when he drops it after he dies. What we can do, though, is put Sita here, so just in case this healer actually decides to do his job and heal up Merrick, not to be confused with Merrick, won't be able to do that. He's just going to go around and try to do it the other way. That's pretty smart, you know, not going to lie. Real recognize real. Jagan can start coming this way. He can get his heals. Boss needs healing. 1, you're 1 off. 1, 2, 25, 22. Guess I'll just heal Jagan again next turn. Yep. And Hardin has this talk with Marth. So I guess this counts as Hardin's squad being officially recruited, or conscripted. I love that conversation. The dialogue in this game is pretty sparing as far as character interactions go, but the writers took advantage of what little is here, and they did a great job expanding it from the very limited dialogue in the NES version. We get a sense of who Hardin is, this very respected prince and commander, but he's willing to hand over the reins of leadership and potential glory to this kid, who he can see is honest and who deserves the recognition of leading a successful rebellion when everyone else has failed. We get to see how Marth and his army are viewed by others, not just the common people we've been saving up until this point, but by, like, big shot nobility like the Prince Hardin here, who are in support of freeing Arcanea from Dolar, but they don't have a foothold to do so until Marth comes by and unites everyone's scattered forces together in an army strong enough to make major decisive victories like this. And we get the start of this bond of friendship and respect that carries over into the next game, and between this respected veteran prince and this exiled but scrappy Prince Marth, who obviously has great potential as a leader and is getting the chance to prove it for the first time. It's not even getting into how it sets things up for new mystery, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Once Hardin and the Wolf Guard have been recruited, the map really doesn't have much more to it. Like I said, the reinforcements start coming, but it's like, even taking the detour for the village and everything, we still have 3 turns before anything really starts coming out of those. So really not a problem in the slightest. Should be able to kill in 3 turns, unless I've been slowing down a little bit. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, yeah, this won't take long, especially if we have C to help out. I just moved her out of the way so he can access the boss again. That was really dumb. It's fine, everything's fine. He just moved back to his original spot. Turn 8. And Sita should be able to finish him. Yep. Oh no! That was a 91% miss, and that totally invalidated my idea of wanting to keep the Silver Lance in perfect condition. But it's just one use, I guess. It's good that she got the experience. And she got strength, no regrets. And a Silver Lance, which is going to go straight to Hardin after this chapter. Well, that's everything. We're 1 turn ahead of the reinforcements, and once you kill the boss, the reinforcements don't come at all. So if we were in the middle of that turn 10 to 15 bracket where they were coming, they would stop. But since we killed them before turn 10, they will not come at all at this point. So nothing left to do, but double check if there are any houses left. Nope. Nothing left to do but seize. Well, looks like we're not quite done yet. We'll be heading to our first indoor chapter since the prologue next time, so I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you then.